The anime follows Kaneki, a young man who befriends the beautiful and enigmatic Rise Kamishiro, unaware that she is a ghoul. Ghouls are humanoid beings that can only eat the flesh of humans and other ghouls. Rise reveals her intentions to eat Kaneki, but by a stroke of luck, Kaneki survives her attack but is mortally wounded. He is saved by an emergency operation, performed by Dr. Akihiro Kano, transferring Rise organs into him. This subsequently turns him into a half-ghoul, half-human hybrid. This makes it difficult for him to survive and cope on his own. His friend Hideyoshi Nagachika tries and fails to adapt to his new nature after the accident, until another ghoul, Nishiki Nishio, attempts to prey on Hideyoshi Nagachika, and Kaneki fight to protect him. After saving his friend, Kaneki is taken in by Yoshimura, a ghoul who runs the cafe Anteku, who teaches him to blend into human society while hiding his true nature. However, he gets bullied by another ghoul named Tauka. A ghoul named Tsukiyama approaches Kaneki with unknown intentions, and the two start hanging out. However, Tsukiyama has prepared a mortal trap where Kaneki is to be killed and eaten. Kaneki finds himself in an arena facing a giant ghoul executioner, Taro, but Tsukiyama intervenes and kills Taro as he wants Kaneki for himself. Intending to consume Kaneki himself, Tsukiyama prepares another trap, using Nishio's human girlfriend, Nishino Kimi, as a hostage. Kaneki confronts Tsukiyama and is assisted by Nishio and then Tauka. They are no match for Tsukiyama as their kagune are not as strong because they do not consume human flesh, so Tauka bites Kaneki, restoring her kagune. A kagune is a predatory organ that serves as a weapon and claws for ghouls. Tsukiyama is defeated by Tauka with Nishio's help. Meanwhile, recent developments in the 20th Ward draw the attention of the Commission of Counter Ghouls, who sends two of their investigators, Kiryomato and Keitar Ammon, to hunt down all ghouls in the area. They find Hinami's father, Fuguchi, and kill him. Hinami is a ghoul who Kaneki met at a cafe. They then use some of Fuguchi's blood to attract ghouls and trap Hinami and her mother, Ryoko. Hinami's mother, Ryoko, is killed by Mato. An angry and vengeful Tauka attacks members of the CCG. She kills Kusaba and attacks Ammon, but Mato intervenes, using his kagune like Quink and wounds Tauka. Tauka tells Kaneki that he wants to fight the ghoul investigators, much to Tauka's chagrin, and he is given his mask by Yuta. Hinami is lured into a trap by Mato, but she is followed by Kaneki and Tauka. Tauka attacks Mato while Kaneki confronts Ammon. During the fight with Ammon, Kaneki realizes that he's the only one that understands the plight of both humans and ghouls. Meanwhile, as Mato fights Tauka, he reveals that the Quink used by the CCG are made from the kagune of dead ghouls. Hinami eventually uses her kagune to save Tauka, fatally wounding Mato but refusing to kill him. Ammon recalls his early days in the CCG when he was partnered with the experienced Mato. Meanwhile, Tauka looks after Hinami above the cafe. Still mourning the loss of his partner, Ammon is relocated to the 11th Ward, where the CCG have trouble facing dangerous ghouls who do not fear them. In the 11th Ward, Aogiri tree ghouls attack a CCG branch and kill all the investigators. Banju Kazuichi from the 11th Ward comes to the cafe looking for Rise. Hayato, Tauka's brother, arrives at the same time. Gamori, who brutally beats Kaneki and then kidnaps him. While the CCG plans an attack on the Aogiri tree, Tauka, Nishio, and Hinami prepare to rescue Kaneki with the aid of an unlikely ally, Tsukiyama. As Kaneki is tortured mercilessly by Yamori, the CCG storms the Aogiri tree hideout. Meanwhile, the Anteku group infiltrates the building to rescue Kaneki. The CCG gains the upper hand, but is then confronted by the one-eyed owl, the leader of Aogiri tree. During the physical and mental tortures Kaneki suffers at the hands of Jason, who reveals to him that Dr. Kanu turned him into a ghoul on purpose, Kaneki's hair turns white and he sees a vision of Rise. After a lengthy dialogue and analysis of his past with her, he comes to accept his ghoul half and breaks free of his chains. Kaneki fights back and mortally wounds Yamori before devouring his kagune. An all-out battle takes place between the CCG and the Aogiri, led by the one-eyed owl. Shinohara and Iwa take on the one-eyed owl using new Quink armor called Aradas, but are unable to defeat him. As the building collapses, the CCG loses about half of their troops and suspects that it was a trap. Meanwhile, Tauka fights her brother Ayato, but she is badly injured and is saved by Kaneki. Tauka's surprise, Kaneki leaves the Anteku group to join the Aogiri tree. The 9th and 10th wards are lost to the Aogiri, apparently led by a ghoul with an eye patch. Meanwhile, Mato's daughter, Akira, is assigned to become Ammon's new partner. Tauka decided to go to Kami University. Akira suggests that a ghoul organization is in control of the 20th ward, but she also causes some friction among the investigators because of her abrupt manner. Now the coffee shop has reopened. Kaneki has now joined the Aogiri. Kaneki and Ayato lead an Aogiri attack on a CCG convoy to rescue Naki, one of Jason's old cohorts who is being taken to the maximum security prison for ghouls known as Cochlea. During the mission, they are attacked by two one-eyed ghouls in black and white striped masks. Tauka pays a visit to the university where Kaneki used to attend, where she has an encounter with Hideyoshi Nagachika, who is now working as a messenger for the CCG. While Amon and Akira visit Cochlea prison to learn more about Aogiri's plan from Donato Porpora, the Aogiri commence their invasion of Cochlea and free a majority of the imprisoned ghouls. The two one-eyed ghouls, Kirona and Nishiro Yasuhisa, meet up with the idiosyncratic inspector, Juzo Suzuya. Kaneki frees the powerful ghoul Matasaka Kamishiro, commonly known as Sachai, a ghoul who had a personal relationship with Rise. However, Kaneki is attacked by him and badly beaten. Ito arrives and greets Sachai, asking if he would like to see Rise. Meanwhile, a worn-out Kaneki begins devouring ghoul corpses in desperation. The battle at Cochlea intensifies on several fronts. Juzo defeats Kirona and Nishiro Yasuhisa, and Shinohara in his regalia almost kills Ayato. Kaneki undergoes a transformation, generating an additional kagune after consuming dead ghouls, but he is beaten by Amon. Amon recalls the time Kaneki spared him, and so he hesitates, reluctant to kill Kaneki. At that moment, the one-eyed owl arrives, grabs Ayato and Kaneki, and departs. Juzo recalls the time when he was known as Rei, an arena executioner for the ghoul Big Madam, and then his acceptance into the CCG by Shinohara. Amon and Akira spend some time together and develop a better understanding of each other. Meanwhile, the CCG prepares a task force to combat the one-eyed owl and the Aogiri. Kaneki painfully tries to gain control of his new kagune. Inami misses Kaneki but is uncertain what to do about it. Tsukiyama, who has been working as Yashimura's spy to gather information on Kaneki, takes Inami out to a cafe to cheer her up. Sen Takatsuki, Kaneki's and Inami's favorite author, shows up at the cafe and tells Inami that in her current state, she cannot help her Kaneki. Takatsuki visits the CCG and tells Shinohara about Anteku, so he pays a visit to Juzo and meets Yashimura. Later, Kaneki appears at Anteku, and although Tauka rushes there to see him, she beats him up instead of revealing her true feelings for him. Yashimura tells Kaneki about his early life as the Killer Kyuzen, who worked for an organization known as V, and that the one-eyed owl is actually his child, Ito, with a human woman, Yukina. When B found out about his family, they killed Yukina while Kyuzen and baby Ito escaped. Yashimura then sends Tauka and Hinami to safety with Yomo, suspecting that the CCG has discovered the truth about Anteku and is planning an attack. Indeed, CCG's chairman, Tsunayoshi Washu, authorizes an attack on Anteku in order to kill the owl. The CCG staff prepare their testamentary notes in their own personal ways in preparation for a potentially fatal full-scale assault on Anteku. They launch the attack using conventional and specialized weapons, and are greeted by the Devil Apes and Black Dober groups with Yashimura, and his friend Yashimura pretending to be the one-eyed owl. Despite being warned of the danger, Tauka and Kaneki head to the 20th Ward to assist their friends. Kaneki's friends from Anteku are defeated one by one, but he arrives to help them. Juzo, Shinohara, and a few other investigators finally defeat Yashimura after a long, fierce battle. Amon faces off against Kaneki, but with victory in sight for the CCG, the real one-eyed owl appears before the investigators. The one-eyed owl easily defeats Shinohara and Juzo, and when the Aogiri tree joins the battle, the CCG is driven into a corner. Kaneki and Amon face off and reluctantly engage in battle. Eventually, the strongest investigator, Kish Arima, attacks the one-eyed owl, giving the CCG renewed hope to fight. Badly wounded, the one-eyed owl consumes Yashimura's body and escapes. Also wounded, Kaneki struggles towards Anteku. He wakes up in the cafe and finds Hyde trying to make coffee for him. In a post-credits scene, the owl regurgitates a still-alive Yashimura and goes back to her original form, revealing herself to be both Sen Takatsuki and the owl, Ito. Kaneki thinks back to happier times in Anteku. Hyde reveals that he knew Kaneki was a ghoul after Nishiki attacked the two of them. Hyde collapses from blood loss and passes out in Kaneki's arms, having been mortally wounded on the battlefield. Tauka chases after Kaneki when she sees him walking out of the burning Anteku but is stopped by Yomo, who states that Yashimura's last request was for him to protect her. Kaneki walks toward the CCG, carrying Hyde's body in his arms, and faces Arima in battle. The next morning, Kaneki, Hyde, and Amon had vanished along with the other CCG members, leaving only an unharmed Arima, most likely having won against Kaneki, leaving Kaneki's fate unknown. After that, Tauka has opened up a new cafe. This is the end of the part 1. If you want part 2, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon.